was about 12 years old, maybe 13, since I had a pretty rough childhood and a very bizarre, painful family. I was reading a lot of books, mainly about psychology and philosophy and religion. I was looking for answers. I was trying to find out why these things happening to me. Who am I? How should I resolve this? Should I resolve this? What's happening inside of me? I had no idea what happened inside of me. I felt the pain, but I couldn't really decipher it. I couldn't understand where it comes from, what it means, how to deal with it, etc., etc. So I was reading a lot of books of these rainy books, I might say, and I was thinking about whether God exists or not. I mean, I think we all go through this at one point in our life. We try to figure out whether God exists or not. And I was sitting in my room and I was like, okay, it's not that difficult to find out if God exists. Just do something crazy for me right now and prove that you exist. If you are such a powerful entity, then it's not a big deal for me to do something like, what Yoda did in Star Wars, just, lift a spaceship for me. It's fine. It doesn't even have to be a spaceship, just lift my desk, just lift me, whatever. And then I believe that God exists. And after, I knew it's not going to happen, right? Nothing's going to happen. But that was my point. Okay, if God exists, I challenge you. Let's call it the God challenge. If God exists, then God should do something for me, something very visible and obvious. And not surprisingly, nothing happened. At that time, I was living with my brother, who I love the most, by the way. My brother is the best human being I've ever met in my life, hands down. My mother, and since my parents were divorced, my mother had a boyfriend or a dude, and they were drinking a lot of alcoholic beverage, if you know what I mean. And after I had this idea, okay, God, do something for me. After that, for like 15 minutes later, the dude who was living with my mom at the time came back from the pub, which was pretty nearby, next to our house. And I was in my own room, and I don't know why I was listening to their conversation, because, why would I? It happened all the time that they come and go, so it wasn't really a special occasion. But for some reason I heard that, the dude just came. Let's call him A, okay, because I don't want to call him dude, so let's call him A. So A just came home and he was very excited. I could hear that he's very excited. He wasn't an excited type. He was a very relaxed, chill type. It was very difficult. He was a pretty slow person. But at this point, he was very excited and very, I don't know. For some reason, I started to pay attention to their conversation, and Ace, he was so excited to tell my mom what happened to him at the pub. He said a guy just came to him and told him that he has a power from God and he can do tricks. And if he can trick A, then A will buy him a drink. And A said, yeah, you're not going to trick me. Like, I'm not a child. You're not going to trick me. I've seen a lot in my life. You're not going to trick me. And the dude just did. I really can't remember the specific trick the dude did. I really don't know what was it. I really can't remember. That was a long time ago. But I remember A was so super excited and nervous about the whole situation. And then he bought a drink to that person. But to me, that was like, it's just weird. It's very weird. First of all, because that happened 15 minutes after I asked God to do something for me. And to me, it was like, the ironic way is that God can send you a message through alcoholism. Is just it's beautiful. It's absurd. It's very absurd. It's crazy. I love the idea. It's beautiful that it doesn't have to be perfect. It's like, that's life. That's real life. That's us. We are full of problems. We are full of flaws, And if God wants to show you something through your flaws, it can do that. It's not beneath him or her. I don't know. It's whatever. So okay, that's not the end of the story. So that happened, and since I was a little pain in the butt, I was really a difficult person. Probably I'm still a difficult person. I said, okay, that could be an accident, right? Okay, so that can happen. This is nothing. There's nothing has to do with God. I said, okay, that's weird. First of all, let's say this is odd. I cannot explain it, but this is just an accident. Anything can happen, right? And I said, okay, God, that was a good one. If you really exist, then I want you to do it again, because just once that's not a proof. You have to, as a scientist, I have to see that you exist. And I was in a odd mood at that point, because I was like, okay, now I'm not rock solid on whether God exists or not. I still don't believe there is a God, by the way, but that's an interesting trick I just saw. And after 30 minutes, and I'm not joking, I hear that our doorbell rang. My mom opens the door, and I'm opening my room's door just a little bit. I want to peek out what's going on outside. And there are two guys out there, Jehovah's Witnesses, trying to sell Bible to my mom. And I said, fuck this. Like, I don't think this is funny or whatever. But by the way, let me clarify, okay? By the way, my mom, like, she is not the religious type of person. So I think she gave them pretty much like half a second to move on to the next flat, because we're not interested in buying anything, and especially not Bible. But to me, I was like, all right. So I know at this point I should have said, okay, God exists, right? But I'm not like that. I'm not an easy dude. So I said, okay, now this is getting interesting. It's very difficult to say after two times, that this is only by accident. But if God exists, I want to see a third occasion. That was my point. Okay, so I said, all right, if there's a third occasion, I will believe in God. Okay, this is my deal. This is what I want. Okay, two. I know it's odd to have two after one each other. It's very difficult to explain with a mistake or an accident. But if there's a third one, okay, I'll say now that's something I can go with. And there was no third. That's it. End of story. Do I believe in God? No, I don't. Am I convinced that there is no God? I'm not. I really don't know. So, I don't know. It's you decide. But I just wanted to share this story with you guys, because I thought that's a very, very interesting story. I remember that was 25 years ago, and I still remember it. And by the way, just for the record, we haven't had Jehovah's Witnesses before that occasion and after that ever in our building, not just knocking on our door or something, ever in our building. So that was the only occasion. Anyway, I wanted to share this story with you guys. I thought that's a very interesting story. I don't want to attribute anything to it or just say anything smart about it, but that's just how odd and bizarre life can be. Yeah. Have a good day, guys. I'm out. Sendai.